Hello everyone, Phil here. It's my final consecutive streaming day of the week, so let's recap everything that went down here on DSPGaming as well as DSP Reacts. Let's talk about what we're doing today, and let's have a nice chill podcast before I get serious in Street Fighter 6 right after this. Alrighty, everyone. Good morning, and what a week we've had. What a fun week, right? A lot of Street Fighter this week, a fun marathon, some progress in all the RPGs that we're currently playing, and overall, I had a great time with all of you, so I hope that you guys had a great time with me here this week. Today is Wednesday, the 5th of July, 2023. Yes, some people have been asking, now that for the last few weeks my day off has been Thursday, will that continue? And the answer I have is I'm not sure. One of the major reasons why my day off has been Thursdays instead of Wednesdays like it was previously was appointments. Actually getting a bunch of important appointments and things that we needed to do, and we were only able to get those on Thursdays. So it made sense to keep the schedule as is. I think next week, yes, our day off again is Thursday. So I guess we'll really see what happens. Maybe at one point we will readjust. It really depends on that kind of stuff. But for the foreseeable future, looks like I'll be here Fridays through Wednesdays, all right? And welcome to the Level 1 Podcast, everyone. So what a week. Let's talk a little bit about the week that was before we talk about what will happen today, because I have decided exactly what I'm doing in Street Fighter 6 today, which I think you guys are going to like because it's going to get serious today. If you can't tell from me wearing my Blanca shirt, right? It's funny because this shirt was over here for a month during the launch of Street Fighter 6, which was very nice, but admittedly, I love this shirt. This is the shirt that a fan made for me over a decade ago at the launch of Street Fighter 4, when Blanca, incidentally, was my main character back then. He was the character who I was using the most. I actually did a tutorial video about Blanca back in the day. Yes, that early in Street Fighter 6, or Street Fighter 4, excuse me. Some people actually watched me for, like, technical reasons, because I was one of the people outlining basics of the game. And so a fan made this shirt for me, as you can see. Blanca on the front, all hand-drawn, amazing artwork. How cool. Look at that, man. With electricity flowing through his body. And on the back, it actually says DSP in giant letters across the back. It's hard to see because it's giant, and I can't really back up enough so you can see it well on camera. But I love this shirt. I've had this for, since, 2009? And here we are 14 years later, and I continue to wear it and enjoy it. Thank you to whoever it was that made me this shirt so long ago. Back then it was very common for someone who knew a YouTuber to just send them some donations and stuff. I used to get all kinds of stuff in the mail back in the day, and it was very nice. Here's something that I kept with me for so long, right? Now, how funny is it? 14 years later, I'm finally getting back into competitive Street Fighter in a way, and my best character right now is Blanca. I don't know if Blanca will eventually be my best character in the game, but it's pretty cool. It's almost like coming full circle, right? My first character that I played seriously in Street Fighter 2 was Blanca. Yes, it was Blanca. I liked the design of the character, being that he was this beast man that was a weird color, He stood out from the rest of the pack. Everyone else kind of looks like a human. He looks so weird, and I liked that about him. So, pretty neat, right? I'm happy to be wearing the shirt today as we get into serious business in Street Fighter 6, because today it's going to be all ranked gameplay. Today I'm going to play with Blanca. I may play with Zangief. It's going to be one of those two, if not both. We'll see what you guys want. But, you know, right now, I'd argue those are two of my best characters, and playing with them, I'll really strongly try to level up. You know, Blanca is in Diamond, and so the more I play, those are going to be harder matches, but at the same time, potential to keep climbing and growing with that character. In fact, last night, once again, I watched a bunch of videos. I actually learned a little bit more tech with Blanca about being in the corner and using the Blanca-chan setup, as well as a few tricky things using the Air Blanca ball, which is pretty interesting because I've rarely ever used it, and I saw a couple interesting setups with it that may actually pan out to be useful today. We'll have to see. With Zangief, I learned a couple things. For example, an interesting not only dash cancel but drive rush kind of technique with him, and some optimum kind of mid-screen combo ability with him. There's also some interesting juggles you can do, either into his level 2 super or into like air spinning pile driver. Of course, they may take some execution. Don't know if I'm going to do that or not. We'll have to see, but I am excited today. Now, I don't know. See, I have a little over 3 hours, right? Depending on how long the podcast runs, determines how much time I have today to play. So, I don't know, should I just use Blanca the whole time? Should I alternate and go Blanca then Zangief? I don't know. We'll talk about it, all right? And we'll see, right? We'll talk and we'll see what we want to do and go from there. But anyway, fun stuff today on stream as our final consecutive streaming day of the week. Let's talk about what happened this week, right? First of all, this really was the week of Ryu. You know, all day Friday, both streams, as well as yesterday's main stream, which was an extended main stream, because I started earlier with the gameplay, was all about Ryu. You know, I'd say I got about 8+ hours of gameplay of Ryu in this week. And what I can say is, I like the character. I think he has big potential, but he is not as easy to use as, say, some of the other mid-screen dash-canceling rushdown style characters. In fact, I'd say arguably he's probably going to be mid-tier, because the other characters, such as, for example, Ken, just have way more options that are way easier off of just one hit. With Ryu, if you get one hit, you could do a pretty good damage combo, and or if you have a level 3 super, you could do upwards of 50 to 60%, but that's about it. With Ken, he's got a ridiculous amount of freaking options off of any mid-screen hit, and he's got constant rush-down mix-up that's mostly safe. And that's kind of an issue for me with certain build characters that just seem like everything they do is safe, while with other characters it's not. With Ryu, it's really not. In fact, a lot of the strategies that people were insisting were safe just were not safe for me. Like, oh, use that kick, the quarter circle forward kick. I don't know what they call it in this one. Just use that and have it at the tip of his foot. Use it, hits the enemy. It's safe on block. I got hit every time. So I don't know if I'm just completely not getting the exact spacing right. But for me, he just seemed like a tougher character to use. And by the way, a ton of execution is required for this character. I mean, constantly you have to be alternating from doing a special move to going in a direction, then going back to neutral to get the right input. And I had a ton of issues with this week. You know, his wall bounce combo requires you going from a drive impact to neutral into a special move, and I constantly kept getting overhead and it would blow the combo. You know, if you get a drive impact mid-screen, now you got to do a big combo with the 2-hit fierce into a low attack into a dash cancel, and half the time it would stop comboing, and I'm like, I don't know why it stopped comboing. I swear I did the timing right. Many times, you know, all I need is the anti-air, and I kept whiffing or not getting it at all. For me, these are all execution issues, right? This is something that if I was focusing in on Ryu and playing him exclusively as my character for a week or two, I would probably master this character's execution. Not saying that I would win constantly, but at least when it comes to landing these combos and strategies on the fly when you need to in a match, I'd probably be much better at it. But being that I'm not just playing Street Fighter 6, being that I'm not just playing the one character, that's one of the things that hurts that opportunity, you see? This game, which a lot of people don't seem to understand, is a game that takes a lot of time investment. I said this right before we started Street Fighter 6. I said, you don't understand with fighting games. It's a time investment. You absolutely have to be playing it constantly and sinking time into the inputs and the technique and everything to get good. Even though Street Fighter 6 has easy inputs for special moves, the actual timing of these crazy combos and cancels and everything is very strict. And you got to be good at it, and you got to practice it. And when have I had time to practice, except I'm already playing someone online, right? I'm not sitting in training mode labbing stuff out. I'm literally just playing people online over and over. So, 8 hours of Ryu. I like the character, okay? I think he has potential. Honestly, I think he'll probably end up being around mid-tier in this game because I don't think he has all the tools that a lot of other characters. This one curl of hair, look at this. This one curl of hair will not be controlled today. It's like refusing to be controlled. See that? Anyway, I feel like he's good, but I don't know if he'll be like top tier. Especially because, like I said, other characters just seem to have more when it comes to their ease of combo ability, their ease of use, their mix-up options. Ryu doesn't have as many. One thing I'm incredibly weak at right now is Drive Rush. I really can't figure out how to implement Drive Rush into my game plan right now. I see top-level players use it effectively, and I try to do it, and every time I try to do it, it gets stuffed by, like, mashing jab, or someone randomly jumps right over it, or I go for it, it never connects, right? And if after blocking, I do, like, a block hit string, and now I feel like I've wasted my opportunity, and I don't know why I bothered, because it didn't get me anywhere. While everyone else seems to be insisting Drive Rush is, like, super important in this game at high levels, and I'm like, I can't figure it out, you know? This game has so many new things. Drive Impact, Drive Reversal, Drive Rush, Dash Cancel, Parry, Perfect Parry, just to name a few, right? And that's a lot to learn when you haven't been playing Street Fighter in a long time and you're trying to absorb. You know, keep in mind, so many people who played the demo were then analyzing this game for 6 months, and I didn't even really look at that stuff until the game came out. So I'm not making excuses. I'm just saying it's tough. A lot of people take this stuff for granted. Oh, why doesn't someone just jump right into ranked and immediately start dominating? That's not how it works at all. You got to give credit where credit is due. When you see these people in Diamond and Master and they are landing their combos consistently, you're like, dude, they put in the time. You know they did. They've been practicing like crazy, and that's why they are where they are. This is not an easy game. This is one of the more challenging fighting games ever made to try to master. So it's rough. And 8 hours of Ryu, I feel like I have an understanding of the character better. But sadly, I don't feel like I did very well with him. If you look at overall wins and losses, I'm pretty sure I lost more than I won. And that sucks, but what can you do, right? In my ever ongoing challenge to get better at Street Fighter 6, you know, there's going to be ups and downs, and this is a character that is high execution required, and I don't have it yet. And because of that, I feel like I could have... It's funny, if you watch my sets from yesterday, I absolutely could have done better if I just had better execution. I arguably would have won more than like 30% more matches if I had good execution. There were matches I had absolutely won. All I need to do is execute this wall bounce combo. All I need to do is execute this punish combo, and I drop it, and I'm like, oh no, it's so crushing when you know you have a game won and you lose it because you have sloppy execution. And man, did it happen a ton with Ryu over this week. So, Ryu, I like the character. I'm just not doing very well with him. That might change in the future. Outside of that, I actually only played Street Fighter 6 one other day, and that was during my marathon, and that was when I was buzzed drinking bourbon, and I played with Lily, Honda, and Blanca, but it was casual matches only because I didn't want to ruin any rankings being that I was buzzed. But I did pretty good. Like, overall, my win-loss records during that day were quite good, and I had a good time with it. Like I said, with certain characters, I'm actually feeling comfortable and safe in neutral. And what that means is you know enough about that character's gameplay that you feel safe in any situation. With Blanca right now, I know what to do if you jump. I know what to do if you dash. I know what to do to control mid-screen spacing. I know what to do if I can punish. I know what to do when you're in the corner. I feel safe. Same thing with Lily. Same thing... For the most part right now, I'm getting there with Zangief, you know? Like, once you get to that level of comfort, then you feel good about playing the game. You don't feel, oh, I'm nervous, or, man, I don't know what to do. It's more like, all right, I'm in my game, let's get going, right? That's how I feel with certain characters. That's a good thing. So I had fun playing it on Sunday. What else did we do this week? Well, we absolutely had progress, both in Zelda as well as Diablo. Now, in Zelda, we have essentially reached endgame content, meaning we beat the 4th dungeon, and then we headed to Hyrule Castle. We completed that mini dungeon and had an epic boss fight, and now we're heading into the end of the game. In fact, tonight when we play again, it's going to be doing the quest line to unlock the 6th and final dungeon and starting that dungeon. Alright? So I've heard that this final dungeon is the longest in the game, but arguably the best one. That's awesome. I can't wait to try it out starting tonight. I hope you'll join me tonight, 6:45 p.m. Pacific time, for the endgame dungeon of Zelda. And in Diablo, we made great strides and progress this week as well. Actually made really good progress through Act 4 and 5, and now we're most of the way through Act 6. So we're actually near the end of the story of the game. And people are saying, one more stream, that's it. Whenever I play Diablo next, I should beat the game. But the question is, what comes next? And there's two schools of thought. One school of thought is, you absolutely should do the post-game. There's a post-game dungeon called the Capstone Dungeon. That's one of the best in the game. You should do that. And then some people are like, no, you should do what's called Season 1. Pick a build and a character for Season 1, which I don't even know what that means. So basically, everyone's like, you should do post-game. But then there's other people who are like, what are you, crazy? You're playing 3 RPGs. It's way too much. You got to cut down on the RPGs. Stop playing these games you beat. You know, once you beat Zelda story, that's it. Once you beat Diablo story, end it. And now move on and do other variety of content. Whether that means bringing back Elden Ring's second run, doing new games like Amnesia the Bunker, actually just checking out World Tour mode in Street Fighter 6, which could be a breath of fresh air because it's not the same as the other, gameplay of the game. Whatever it may be, just do something different. Stop playing RPGs. Some people are all RPG'd out because I played 3 of them at once. I hear ya, and I kind of agree with you. I feel like that was a bad choice. I never should have been playing 3 RPGs at once. It's too much. And I presented that at the beginning of, or end of May, early June. I said, what are we going to do? But sadly, everyone in the audience insisted, you can't skip any of them. You can't skip Zelda. You can't skip Diablo. You can't skip Final Fantasy 16. I'm like, all right, but here's what's going to happen. You're going to end up kind of sitting around waiting for gameplay because I'm going to be playing a lot of Street Fighter 6. And no one's going to be satisfied, and that's exactly what's happened. Everyone complaining, oh, he didn't do enough content in Zelda. Well, I'm like 50 hours in. Oh, you should have played 100 hours. Oh. Or again, Diablo, oh, well, the reason that you're at the end of the game and it's so challenging is because you coasted through it. You told me to coast through it. People were like, yeah, just do the story. That's the best part of the game or the most important part, especially once you get the mount or whatever. So I do it, and I'm like, oh, well, you didn't do any side content. Like, oh. Again, when you juggle so many games and when there's high-profile releases that people demand you play, you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't, right? It's just, what are you going to do? You got content creators like Asmongold who watch me and they're like, I can't understand how he's still doing the story and he's playing on console. Well, I'm juggling 4 games. I'm playing competitive Street Fighter. Well, I play 3 other games. That's the answer, It's rough. So we got to come to a decision in the next week or so because within a couple more streams of each of Zelda and Diablo, we're going to finish the stories. And once we finish those stories, right, we're going to be having opportunity to move on to other stuff. And the question is, what do you want, right? Let's start talking about that because we need to figure that out sooner rather than later, okay? Now, the other game I'm playing is Final Fantasy 16. And in regards of Final Fantasy 16, I'm playing it, and I'm enjoying it about 30% of the time. And that's no exaggeration. Every single stream I play of Final Fantasy 16, 2 hours are boring, and 1 hour is, like, really fun. That shouldn't be the case. It should be when you're playing a game, you're just enjoying it. But the way they've paced the game with a bunch of really boring dialogue, incredibly long, uninterruptible cutscenes, is that you have to sit there and watch the story unfold. Sometimes it's fun, sometimes it's not. All right? And the way I see it is, I want to keep going. I bought this game. But right now, if you actually look at my streams, it's Final Fantasy 16, which, by the way, I'm playing it as a daytime stream, has the least interest of any streams I'm doing. I'm not even... Right now, I have more people watching this podcast this morning, as I do it live, than when I broadcast Final Fantasy 16. The interest has completely died for this game because the way they've made it and paced it, it's fucking boring. They kind of killed their own game. And it's funny because people are like, oh no, there's tons of hype. There is. Among the Final Fantasy community, there's always going to be hype. But you got to look at the mainstream community. In the mainstream community, there's a lot of disagreement and a lot of criticism around this game. You can't just look at just the community that just kisses its butt. I mean, same thing with Zelda. There's people who absolutely think Zelda's Game of the Year shoo-in, and then there's others who are like, what the hell are you talking about? It's Breath of the Wild with some added stuff, and, how could you say that's Game of the Year? So, there's always different schools of thought. For me, like I said, I'm enjoying Final Fantasy 16, but it's frustrating that I do feel like I waste half a stream on bullshit instead of just fun stuff. I don't know how they didn't understand that you should just do the fun stuff and leave out the filler. It's really stupid. So, I will continue to play Final Fantasy 16. In fact, this coming week, I'll play more of it. This week, I only played it once. Today was supposed to be Final Fantasy 16, but number one, I played a ton of Ryu, and when I played with Ryu this week in Street Fighter 6, I don't feel like I got progress. I feel like I got knowledge, but I didn't get progress, so I was craving to play more Street Fighter 6 today. And number two, quite frankly, there's really no major demand for Final Fantasy 16 right now from my audience. You know what I'm saying? So, it's funny because TubTub says, you can make the same argument about Street Fighter. It's obviously your game of the year. I didn't say that. I didn't say that at all. Why do you think that Street Fighter 6 is my game of the year? I'm not saying that in any way, shape, or form. I don't even think I'm at a point where I can make that determination. We got tons of games coming out this year. I can't make a decision on that yet. That's ridiculous. I like it right now. I'm trying to get better at it. It's fun to be competitive in a game for the first time in ages. That doesn't mean it's my game of the year. That's ridiculous. And there's a lot of valid criticisms about Street Fighter 6 as well. You see? Stop assuming things. Because you like to assume. There's a lot of people like to put words in my mouth and assume and say these dumb things like the Tractors would say. And they're all fucking bullshit. You know? Just listen to what I actually say rather than putting words in my mouth. Alright? Seriously, it gets frustrating when people want to say shit. Oh, that's just what Phil thinks and said. I never fucking said that. Nor do I think it. So it's time to cut with the bullshit. Alright? Stop with that nonsense. Okay. Now. So Final Fantasy 16, I'm going to keep playing it, alright? And in fact, next week there'll be 2 streams of it. I know this week there was only 1. That was mostly because we did the marathon, the special summer marathon on Sunday. So because of that, it did cut down on the amount of gameplay that I did, but there will be 2 streams of Final Fantasy 16 next week. We'll talk about that in a minute. So what else did I do this week? The marathon. And the marathon was really fun, and man, if you missed it, I recommend you at least check out a few key videos. The first key video, that you absolutely should be checking out is the schedule update. This is a video that's the featured video here on DSPGaming. It lasts about 90 minutes. I went through the game release schedule for the rest of the year. And anything that had concrete dates, I kind of read off and went through. And I picked the ones that I'm the most interested in. You guys told me about ones that you were interested in. And we basically hammered in the solid games I'm absolutely playing and the games that are maybes. All right? So now we kind of have an idea of the landscape. You know, honestly, there's not a heck of a lot going on in July and August. There's a few maybe games, like, in between there if I want to. But for the most part, this month's going to be about finishing up what I'm playing and maybe doing some odds and ends that I didn't get to finish or I skipped. And then August is going to be kind of an anniversary month, celebrating my 15-year anniversary as a content creator and or doing a few other retro playthroughs and things like that. Once we hit September, it's nonstop new releases. September, October, November, and even into December, we're crazy busy. So we're going to have a fun rest of the year, but I recommend you watch that because it's very informative, and it was also pretty fun. You know, I was taking some shots. I was interacting with the audience. It was a good video. I think as of now, it has like 1,500 views or something like that, and climbing. You know, it's doing pretty good. So give it a look if you didn't see it yet. Outside of that, the other video that I think that you guys should watch and enjoy, I did a tier maker ranking of American fare cuisine over on DSP React. All right? Probably one of the best, if not the best tier maker I've ever done. It was 50 different kinds of American food that we checked out and ranked. And I had a lot of fun doing it. People were actually arguing in the chat and kind of convincing me to go one way or another with each kind of food. The tier maker stuff does well. You guys seem to like it. I hope you'll give it a look because I realize in the last month or two, the attention on DSP Reacts has waned. I haven't done a lot over there. This month's the opposite. This month we got the tier maker, 2 food videos. Yesterday, the food video of what my wife made for dinner during that marathon event, which was turkey chili cheese dogs and a homemade mac and cheese, went live. This morning, well, actually, in 30 minutes, the other video, which is me trying out her dessert, which she made a homemade peach cobbler, and I basically just kind of talked with the audience when I ate it to end the marathon. That goes live today, all right? Later on this month, we have a long-form React event going on regarding Machinima. That's going to be a bunch of extra content. And I'm planning on reviewing some movies this month, too. So the content over on DSP Reacts will actually kick up a notch for the summertime. And I hope you'll go give it a look, because I know that the videos over there just aren't getting a lot of attention because there hasn't been much going on. But now there is, all right? Please give it a look, especially that tier maker. I think you'll really enjoy it, all right? So the marathon went well. Everyone loved it. One of the things that came out of the marathon, you guys outright told me you liked the fact that I was wearing different kinds of clothes. Rather than just wearing a t-shirt every day, you liked the nice, kind of, summery button-down shirt. So I told you guys, hey, if you like that, I would likely, whenever I start going out again with my wife, which actually is probably going to be next week's day off, I'll go to some of these discount clothing stores. I'll see what they got. See if I can maybe grab a shirt or two and put it into the rotation. Hey, that shirt I wore during the event, I could put that into the rotation just for variety's sake, so it's not the same gaming shirts every single day. It's a little bit of variety. People were like, yeah, we like that your hair was washed and looked nice, and, you were putting on sunglasses, which you never do during your streams, right? Like, you were doing things a little differently, and we liked that, rather than just being the same every day. And I was like, so let me get this straight. You guys don't want me to do the same thing that I've done every day for 15 years. And they're like, no, variety. Oh, okay, now I get it. So there you go. So yeah, thanks for the feedback. I appreciate it. And, we'll see moving forward what happens, but likely in the next, few weeks, we'll see what I can grab some stuff. So some positive stuff definitely came out of the event. I had a great time with it. All right. That was the week. It was a very eventful week. Like, lots of content, right? I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks to anyone who supported it. And, now let's talk about the week that will be. So today, in Street Fighter 6, focusing on ranked only. Will it be Blanca? Will it be Zangief? Will it be both? I'll kind of leave that in your hands or for us to determine. I watched videos both on Blanca and Zangief. I absorbed some tech, and I think that I can use some of that tech in my game today based on what I saw. So I hope that you guys will enjoy and stick around today for Street Fighter 6 gameplay. We might even end the podcast early again like I did yesterday to get some extra gameplay in. We'll see, okay? Hey, if I use Blanca today, hopefully we can get him up. Like, right now he's at level 1-star diamond. Maybe we can get him to 2-star diamond. I don't know. It's going to be hard. Like people were saying, diamond is the sweats. What that means is everyone in diamond is so hungry to rank up and get shown off on the internet. Look, I'm diamond level, and look at my combo, and look at my execution. And they're all playing their mains, and they're all going crazy with it. So it's going to be rough. It's going to be very challenging. I might get steamrolled a few times, but maybe I can get the gameplay going. Maybe I can get the momentum going. I can get some good wins, and maybe I can rank up my Blanca. We'll see. Okay? We'll find out. All right. Tonight on the late stream, 6:45 p.m. Pacific time, Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. We're amidst the plot line now to unlock the 6th and final dungeon. And then once we do, then we can go to it and start that plot line. And that's essentially the last major gameplay until the final boss. So it'll be good to get that going tonight and see how far we get. I don't think we'll beat it, but maybe we'll get a good chunk in. Okay? I'm off from streaming tomorrow. Ample opportunity for those of you who maybe didn't catch up on everything, maybe the marathon stuff. It's all live here. The Street Fighter gameplay, the schedule update, and the podcast are here. The tier maker, as well as the 2 food vlogs, are over on DSP Reacts. Take the opportunity to get caught up. Enjoy. All right? And I'll be back on Friday for Street Fighter Fridays. Now, what I've been doing every Friday is on the first stream, I've been playing a new character. The question is that what you'd like to continue to see me do? Should I pick another character on Friday who I haven't used yet? So who's left? Ken, Jury, Jamie, Kimberly, Cammy, Guile, and Luke. Those are the 7 characters left who I haven't used, right? So do you want to see me try one of those characters this coming Friday? Would you enjoy that? You would like to see me give it an effort? I'm down for that, if that's what you want. We could do that as the first stream on Friday, try a new character out in Street Fighter 6. Then Friday Night Fights, the late stream, we can either continue on with that character, or if I feel like maybe I've gotten enough of a taste of that character and I want to go play with a different character that I've already used, we can do that on Friday night. Saturday is the React show, DSP versus the Internet. We'll do that over on DSP Reacts, watching clips submitted by the members over there. And then Saturday night will be endgame of Diablo 4, and arguably the end of the game. People are saying one more stream, I should be able to beat the story of the game. And then we'll see what we want to do. Do I want to do post-game content, or do we say, okay, that's enough for Diablo for now. Maybe I'll return to it in the future, but for now, kind of retire it to move on to other stuff. So we'll see what happens Saturday night. Sunday, it'll be Final Fantasy 16 during the daytime stream and Zelda during the night stream. Monday will be Street Fighter 6. Maybe paired with Diablo if we're not done. If we are done, maybe it'll actually be an opportunity to do something different on Monday night. Maybe go back to the World Tour mode in Street Fighter 6. We'll see. Tuesday, more Final Fantasy 16 and more Zelda. Maybe then potentially the end of Zelda. And then same thing on Wednesday. you know, we'll see. Maybe we'll do more Street Fighter and something else on the late stream. So essentially, once we've beaten one of these games at night, we have opportunity to do new stuff, variety of stuff, which I'm happy for. I know you guys want the variety. You've been asking for it. I'm listening. We got to finish these games up, and then we can get to that, okay? So that's the rough schedule for the week. By the way, I take that back because Sunday night I am not streaming. Sunday night I have to film private React videos for patrons. I have to film 3 of them this month, so I need the time to do it. So there will be no late stream on Sunday. Sunday will just be Final Fantasy 16 and no late stream, okay? So that means I guess Monday night would be Zelda. Tuesday night would either be Diablo or something else, and then Wednesday night would potentially be the end of Zelda, okay? So there you go. And then after that, you know, for the rest of the month, do I want to play a new game? Do I want to look into maybe playing Pikmin 4? Do I want to go back to Elden Ring? We'll talk all about that once we get through this coming week and we determine what's coming next, okay? I think that would be a good thing to do. Good stuff. That's the schedule, guys. I really only have one interesting news story today to cover. Let's quickly just cover the fact that I am a crowdfunded individual. All right, I make my living on the internet via funding from live streams and or people who watch the videos and, you know, advertisement revenue and stuff like that. If you like my content and you're enjoying today's stream and you're interested in Street Fighter and or supporting my efforts to continue to cover all the games that I'm covering, please continue to support in all the ways you've already been doing, whether it's as simple as liking a stream or liking a video, you know, talking with me, interacting on a stream, or leaving a comment on a video. All that is great for engagement. That engagement basically has a rating on YouTube, and the more engagement you get, the higher ranked your channel is. You'll actually show up in related videos. I've actually had some videos show up in search for people, which is rare. I almost never show up in YouTube search. It's great to have that. The more engagement, the better. Please keep that up. I know that it's actually waned in the last couple of months as I haven't mentioned it that much, but it's a super important statistic. Please consider interacting with the videos and the streams. Outside of that, there's so many ways that you can go above and beyond and support this content, whether it be a super chat or a super sticker during a live stream, or maybe a super thanks on a video. I actually got one this morning, if you can believe it, thanks to the person who left it. A membership. If you enjoy this content, you get so many benefits for being a member, all right? I haven't outlined them in so long. Let's do that. If you become a channel member, here's what you get. Number 1, highlighted name in the stream chat and in the video comments. Number 2, a chat crown badge to show how long you've been a supporter. Number 3, you ignore the slow mode rules of the chat. You can talk as much as you would like. Number 4, you get access to all of my emotes. At one point, this channel had over 1,300 members. So there is ridiculous, like 2 to 3 dozen emotes that are unlocked on this channel that you can use as a result of being a member. So that's a great thing you get too. In addition to that, every once in a while, we have special events. For example, coming up, there's going to be a 15th anniversary event in August. And what I'm going to do is give members the opportunity to nominate their favorite moments and probably their favorite games that I've played over the years. And based on feedback, we're going to do a retrospective event. We're going to go back and watch moments that have been nominated by people in a kind of a marathon setting. In addition, I'm going to do a couple retro playthroughs, and I'm going to be taking member feedback into account of what older games that I played in the past, or maybe I never did a full playthrough of, that I should play in a modern setting. So members are going to have all of that coming up soon, all right? So I hope that you guys will consider becoming a member today. Another great thing is if you like this content on the channel and you support it and you want to help your fellow viewers, you can gift memberships to the channel. It's a great way to help out people who also like the same content that you do. And today, when I'm playing Street Fighter, typically we tend to have higher attendance than other streams. So today would be a great day if you wanted to help out the channel to gift some memberships to your fellow viewers. In addition, we sadly lost a ton of members recently. We had a bunch of gifted ones over the last couple of months. They've all expired now. And being that basically I'm playing Street Fighter 6 and a bunch of RPGs, kind of, you know, that new member hype has died down a bit. It would be great if anyone likes the content, if you could support the channel in any way. Gifted memberships would be a great way to do it. All right? And last but certainly not least, you can tip me. Tips are great because I get funds from tips right away. They can go towards paying bills. They can go towards buying games. They can go towards just the cost of operation for day-to-day things, you know. Because tips are so great, I have tiered rewards for them. You know, raise $50, I'll put on a pair of Gunner glasses. Raise $100, you get to choose a silly hat for me to wear. $150, I'll toss on a silly vest to wear. Okay, So thanks in advance for any contributions on the stream. This is how I make my living. I appreciate everyone who supports my content moving forward. Thanks so much for that. Okay. What do I mean when I say play in a modern setting? I mean on a live stream with face cam, interactive with an audience. My old content from back in the day when I started as a content creator was offline, no streaming, no face cam, no direct capture, no interaction with an audience. You couldn't have gotten any further away from what I do today. It's completely different style of content. You know, those older playthroughs that I did back in the day, in my early days as a YouTuber, were so different than what I do today that to replay those games in a modern setting and my modern method would be a completely different experience. And some people have been interested in seeing that, you see? So there you go. All right. One news story today, and it's in regards to Game Pass. All right. It actually, we're going to talk a little bit about the Game Pass games coming up in the month of July. So as of today, Grand Theft Auto 5, listen to this, all versions have been added to Game Pass. You might say, well, what does that mean? All versions of GTA 5, including the more optimized recent ones for Xbox Series S and X. So GTA 5 right now for Game Pass subscribers is free. That's cool. You know, you guys have asked me over the last couple of years, would I replay GTA 5? And I keep telling you, yeah, I would. Absolutely. I've only done the playthrough once ever. I would be happy to go back and replay the game a second time. The most modern version of the game, whatever that would be. Now we know it would be this modernized version that had the graphical updates and stuff. But I said that I would basically hold off till it made sense. And, you know, I would maybe until we have more data on GTA 6. Now, here's the thing. Guess what? It's my 15th anniversary. Perhaps, right? This is something that you would be interested in. Would you like to see me replay GTA 5 for the first time ever, 10 years later after the first playthrough? Because now it's on Game Pass and it's the more modernized version, right? What do you think? What do you think? Some people will likely say yes, and some people will likely say no. So let's see what people would like. You know, I will. That's an option. That's an option for the anniversary stuff coming up. Like I said, what I'd like to do is take your feedback on some of the games that I've already played from over the years that you'd now like to see me do a more modernized playthrough of. I would definitely say GTA 5 would be one that was in the running because you guys have asked for it over the years. And now that it's on Game Pass, that makes it way more viable because it's available at any moment. I can just get it and play it, right? So let me know. Let me know what you think. Right now, people are torn. Some people say yes, some people say no, right? They're already torn in the chat, kind of 50-50. So it's an option. I'm throwing that out there. Other games this month, well, as of now, one's called Sword and Fairy Together Forever. On July 6th, McPixel 3. Okay. July 11th, Common Hood and Insurgency Sandstorm. On July 14th, Exo Primal. That's the other big one that everyone's talking about. This is the brand new game from Capcom that is a co-op online shooter where you're basically taking on hordes of kind of mutated time-traveling dinosaurs. Yes, I know that sounds weird because it is. But the game looks pretty solid if you're into these kind of team-based shooters. It looks like it may be a summertime fun-style game for those who have Game Pass. On the 18th, Tectonica and the Cave. And then, I guess there are some games leaving Game Pass this month. But out of all those, you know, the two that make sense to me would be GTA 5 or Exo Primal. I really don't know if you guys would want to see me do Exo Primal. Maybe just for the hell of it, do one stream of it to see what it is later in the month. But I don't think that's anything we're going crazy for, absolutely need to dedicate a lot of time to. I'm certainly not a team-based shooter kind of guy. You know what I mean? So that's just not my forte for the kind of content that I put out. Okay. Let's get the shout-outs, shall we? Let's start here with Awesome Friendly Kid, who did a super chat at the beginning of the podcast and said the following. I left a comment on your daily rap video. I hope it helps. He did. And what he did is he left a comment regarding Drive Impact in Street Fighter 6. Because what I talked about last night in my daily... hold on. Awesome Friendly Kid. Right? What I talked about last night in the daily rap is how I just don't know how to implement Drive Rush right now in Street Fighter 6. Like, all the pros use it. Everyone's telling me to use it. And every time I try to use it, I fail. I don't really know how it's used. So what he's saying is essentially what you got to do for every character. You got to learn about openings. Drive Impact's key, but only... Not Drive Impact, excuse me. Drive Rush is key, but only if you know how to use it. So for example, one of the things that people do is they'll throw a fireball and then do Drive Rush after it. Because after the fireball, they're not expecting you're going to be right in their face. So maybe they block the fireball, they go to move, oops, Drive Rush right in their face, and now they get, they get stuck with a combo, right? That's a good suggestion, all right? But that's the thing, like, I think I need, when I'm watching these high-level videos of people playing the game, right, the thing is, they're playing at a high level. It's not basic stuff. When I'm playing a lot of people online, it's basic stuff. So they're not going for something, and then, a lot of people are just standing there doing nothing. It's like, well, now when do I Drive Rush? Well, you don't do it then. You do it when they're in the middle of their own game trying to do something and you stuff what they're doing. But that's not clicking for me. It's a brand new thing. It was never in a Street Fighter before. It's not clicking how to use Drive Rush yet because I don't think I'm even in the right situations to use it, or I'm not creating them. That's the other thing. You need to create the situation where it's viable and useful, and I don't know how to do that yet. That's something that's going to come with experience. I played Ryu for 8 hours yesterday. I essentially learned basics, and I tried to get some execution down. Maybe next time I play Ryu, I should focus on what's a Drive Rush setup. What do I do to get this to implement into my game plan better, right? Something to think about and focus on. So thank you, Awesome Friendly Kid, for the super chat and the message. It was useful. Shout out to Pausen, who became a member for 17 months. I appreciate that, Pausen. Thank you for the ongoing support of the channel. Well, I was just about to do shout out for tips, but then a super chat came in from Brad, who says, Final Fantasy 16 and Street Fighter 6 being big makes me wish Square made a real fighter instead of wasting time on Dissidia. The roster was sick when they added Locke Cole at the end. Oh, yeah. See, I never played Dissidia. I played the demo. I thought it was all right. I bought the game, and then everyone told me don't play it, so I never booted it. I seriously bought the game years ago and never bothered with it. I've heard it's decent, but that it's more of like it's not a serious fighting game. It's more cinematic and more party game style than a real fighting game. Did you know that Square Enix did have a real fighting game in the 1990s? Did you know what it was called? Guys. It was an arena-style fighter. What that means is it was a 3D plane, and you could play as various characters, and Cloud from Final Fantasy VII was in it, and you would run around this arena, and each button would be like, you lead to a combo, and then you had like a special move button and stuff like that. It was unique, and it was an experiment, and it didn't do well. It was in arcades. It was not a favorite of people in arcades. They preferred the 2D style fighting game at the time, and even the 3D style was still semi 2D. You know what I mean? Like Tekken technically is 2D, even though you can move in a 3D plane. It's still kind of a 2D fighter. People just did not like this 3D arena style. Take a look at games like Power Stone. It was similar to that. So it was a unique thing that kind of stood out and didn't do very well. And after that, basically these companies didn't really bother making fighting games anymore. They just focused in on the things they were good at, like RPGs. So they did try and failed. And then I guess what you're saying is Dissidia was kind of their next attempt. And again, it didn't really catch on as any kind of a mainstream fighting game. So, all right. Cool. All right. Now we get to the tip side of things. Now, the weird thing about this is I don't know if these are in the right order or not. Let me take a look. Let me take a look here. Okay, it is in correct order. So first of all, I received a $6 tip from Game Tracker, and he says he wants to talk about my Ryu gameplay. So let's do that first. All right. Thank you, Game Tracker, for the first tip of the day. He says, so before I do my... man, there goes my voice. Excuse me. It's my, my allergies acting up. Before I do my usual tip today, I want to finally give you my thoughts on Ryu. Right away, I'm going to be frank. I don't think he's your type of character in this game. Ryu in Street Fighter 6 seems to really reward patience, situational awareness, precision, and knowledge. At high level, you have to fully understand his mechanics and when to apply them. You have to always be mindful of when you have a charge or not. His new Hashigeki move is a pressure tool. That's the one with the palm strike. That can also be used to fuel his highest damage combos. And you want those combos because they're huge for cashing in on a single moment of vulnerability from your opponent. He's not a rushdown character. This is a character that's supposed to play solid and look for openings. And it's funny because he's still newbie friendly with his strategies at low level. But in my opinion, he's actually one of the most demanding fighters in Street Fighter 6 at high level. Playing him effectively requires practice, 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 and knowledge, knowledge, knowledge. And you know what else he requires? Lots of execution. Yeah, because you're right. Depending on the situation, where you are on the screen, you know, okay, this will hit here, this will hit here. Oh, when I'm not wall bouncing, got to do the EX Hurricane into a dash cancel, into a juggle. When I am wall bouncing, then I just do the punch into the strikes, and then I can do a Shoryuken, and I can cancel out of that. When they're mid-screen, you got to try to hit that drive impact, do the 2-hit punch, and dash cancel out of that. Hopefully go for a wall bounce if you have the meter. If you don't have the meter, just do a finish with the kick. You see, it's all knowledge and execution. And the thing is, I feel like I absorbed a lot of basic knowledge with the character, but my execution was very poor. If my execution were better, like I said, I guarantee you I would have won like 30% more matches yesterday if I didn't drop my combos constantly, which I absolutely was doing. It's so embarrassing and frustrating. When you are winning a match, this is it, I won. Oops, dropped it, and now I'm screwed, right? But I agree with you there where, yes, his new move, which is that palm strike, is critical. I've seen some, not all, but some of the top players using the palm strike, because that's the thing about Ryu, it seems like he can be played in different ways. And I do think that the palm strike is useful for setting up, and if it strikes, it could create a juggle state, or it's kind of a safe on-block style move from certain distances, which then leads you onto your next strategy. Like I think what some people do is palm strike, then they do drive rush, because it's a bait. Then you're like, oh, I can hit them after the palm strike. No, drive rush, right into your face, and now you get a combo, you see? But you're absolutely right. I wasn't implementing it. I think I used it like twice all day. And the 2 times I used it, it worked. So why didn't I keep using it? This game, Street Fighter 6, is one of the most complex fighting games I've ever played. I mean, the other one that I played that was that complex was like Guilty Gear. You know, like there's so much knowledge about each character that you need to absorb and know. Every character has so many options, so many different strategies and things that they can do. And you have to have it in your mind at all times and then remember to implement it at certain times. And it's very, very, very... man, I don't even know what to say. Is it exhausting? It is to some extent. When there's that much going on in a game, it can get very exhausting when you're trying to keep all that knowledge in your head. And like I said, once you play a character enough and you get into a groove, then you feel comfortable. And when you feel comfortable, now it's not exhausting anymore. I would say right now, probably with Zangief and Blanca, and even maybe Lily to some extent, I'm not feeling exhausted. I'm feeling more comfortable playing those characters. But then there's other characters that I'm getting flustered. And Ryu trying to learn that character this week, that flustered me. Because there's a lot of knowledge to absorb and I don't know it yet. And, you know, do I do this? Do I do this? And you're right. Hashigeki, I should have been using half the time. And I used it like twice. Why did I forget it? Because there's so much going on. Ah! Anyway. Thank you for the tip and thank you for the feedback. Okay. Continuing on. I received a $29.99 tip. And this, again, is from Game Tracker. Oh, okay. Of course, he wants his Street Fighter animation. By the way, I mentioned this a few times the week. I'll bring it up again. I now have special animations for all 4 games I'm playing. $10 tip is Zelda. $20 tip is Street Fighter. $30 tip is Final Fantasy 16, which you guys didn't even see yet. And a $50 tip is Diablo. So we have all those different animations for various summertime games. If you tip any level, you're going to see one. Okay? Okay. So, thank you, Game Tracker, now for a $29.99 tip. That'll get us up to $36 in tips. Okay. Okay. He says the following. One more round of Street Fighter 6 to round up your streaming week. I'm voting for Lily again, though by the time you read this, decision may have already been made. Anyway, as I said in one of my tips yesterday, I'll be letting you know your latest session casual match wins, losses via tips since the doc only lists totals. Here's my first time doing that. Yesterday, you had 36 wins and 29 losses with Ryu in casual matches. Today, I have a tip. I saw on your gameplay yesterday, you're still mixing up whether you're getting a wall crush or a crumple off of drive impact. You're right. At least it seemed that way once I saw you get a crumple and still go for the Hashigeki juggle. Anyway, the way to tell the difference with 100% consistency is that it's always a crumple if you get the full animation with a slowdown. and special camera angle. So they fully crumple if you get the full slowdown. Okay. It's only if they hit the wall without the slowdown or the camera zoom that it's a wall crush. So if you get the full crumple, you're not going to get the wall bounce. You're going to go for a mid-range combo situation. In which case, if I'm doing that, what I should probably do is punch into low medium punch into EX Hurricane and then lead that into a juggle in the corner. Like maybe air medium punch into another Hurricane or air medium punch into level 1 super. I mean, I think you probably do air medium punch into level 3 or just do level 3. Yeah. Okay. But then if you're not getting the slowdown, that's when you do the wall bounce juggle. Okay. Cool. Gotcha. That is critical to know. I agree with you. Right. So in casual play yesterday with Ryu, it was tough, but at the end of my casual play session, I actually had one more than I had lost. Then when I went online, I basically went 5-11. When I went 5-11 ranked, I mean. Not online, but 5-11 ranked matches. Yeah, because again, people were just dominating me. They were doing mix-ups. They were doing traps. They were getting me stuck in the corner. I was dropping combos, and it was frustrating again, you know. I'm at too high of a rank with Ryu. In ranked, I shouldn't be at 5-star platinum / diamond 1. I should be like platinum 1 or 2, you know, crawling my way up. Pretty frustrating. Okay. All right. Thank you very much, Game Tracker, for the tips. So outside of that, what I would like to do before we get to like Q&A is a cumulative update because I've been doing this every day. So here we go with Ryu, who I played over the weekend. All right. Overall, in casual play, I have 73 wins and 41 losses. So in casual play, I'm doing good. In ranked matches, I am absolutely sucking ass. 15 wins and 39 losses my first session. 9 wins and 14 losses my second session. 5 wins and 11 losses my third session. If you want to do the math on that, it's 28 wins and something like 60 to 70 losses. Oh, why did they put me in diamond? Oh. Ah. So overall, this kind of did hurt my overall record, I think. But here we go. You ready? Here's my overall record at this point. 938 wins, 710 losses. I'm somehow still at a 57% win rate, which I think I've been around 57 for like weeks. I don't know what it is because some characters I do better with, some characters I do worse with. No matter what, I still end up at 57%. I don't know how this is possible. But as you know, we are climbing to 1,000 wins, all right? And we're at 938. After today, we're going to be right there on the edge. I don't think we'll hit it today, but I think Friday. I think Friday is the shoo-in. On Friday, whatever new character I end up picking on Friday will be my 1,000th win in Street Fighter 6. It's pretty neat. I'm excited for that. I hope that we get to it, okay? But we'll see what happens and go from there. And then after that, what's the next? 2,000, right? We keep climbing. We try to hit these big milestones. But I'm excited. It's been a fun ride. I'm happy that today I'll be doing more ranked and hopefully leveling up and go from there. So, all right. Very nice. Okay. That's it. So now what I'd like to do is open up the pre-stream / podcast to a little bit of Q&A. We're probably going to end the show a little earlier today for me to take a brief break and probably like use the restroom, but then we're going to jump into gameplay, and I want to get to the ranked gameplay and get a good chunk in today. Hopefully, like I said, level up with my best characters. Again, I'm on the fence. Should I pick Zangief or should I pick Blanca or should I pick both? Maybe we start with Zangief and we swap to Blanca. We'll think about it, okay? Jade, awesome. He says he feels okay today. He'd love to see the Bison hat today. Well, we hit $100 in tips. Maybe I'll put on the Bison hat. Yesterday, I did have the Ryu headband, so the Bison hat today would definitely make sense, I think. Okay. Oh, yeah, Brad says, I think Guile would be more interesting to see you play than Ryu. He has an easier time standing still and committing to defense, maybe easier execution because there's no Dragon Punch inputs. Interesting. Lady L says, I'm feeling spoiled. You played Street Fighter 6 2 days in a row. Who's my favorite character right now? Honestly, my top 3 fun characters to play, you know, Blanca, Zangief, Lily. I think all 3 of them I like. All 3 of them are interesting and unique and different. They all play differently. And I'm enjoying them all. I would say those are my top 3 fun factor characters. You know, actual like competitive level. definitely Blanca's my best. As you know, I'm diamond rank legit with Blanca. I grinded my way up to that, and I'm getting much better with the character. Lekmix says, will you ever just focus on one character and get to master? See, I don't know. I mean, we could, but then, do you really, let's be honest. Let's say all day Friday, and then again on Monday, and then again on Wednesday of next week, all I'm doing is playing Blanca. Would you get bored? That's a hell of a lot of Blanca. You know, I'll get better. I'll probably have better setups and interesting things, but do you really want to see that much of one character's gameplay? If I did that next week, I could potentially get to like 3-4 star diamond if I do well. But do you really want to see all that Blanca, or are you going to get bored? But that's the thing. Most people playing this game competitively, that's actually what they did. They just sat with 1 to 2 characters, played them endlessly, got good, and that's their game. There's almost no one out there who's playing every character. You know, no one's doing what I'm doing. Because they're all trying to get good and fucking go to tournaments and shit, and I'm not. I'm just trying to put out good content for you guys and get a general understanding of each character in the game, trying to figure out who really does fit who I would like to play. You know what I mean? See, Lady L likes the variety that I'm playing. Plip Plop says, you see yourself becoming a master in the next few months and go to tournaments? No, I've already said I have zero interest in playing competitively in this game. I'm just here to cover it and play it online and get better at it and put it as something regular in my rotation. You guys have been enjoying seeing me play this game at a competitive level. I'm happy to do it, but I have no aspirations of anything else outside of that. You understand that anytime that you decide, oh, I'm going to go competitive in a game, that's it. Now you got to sacrifice time away from what you're doing. I would have to cancel streams, travel to fucking play in tournaments. Fuck all that. Been there, done that. Did it for a long time in my life. Zero desire to go back to that lifestyle. Zero. Lady L, question for you. When you were counting my wins and losses with Ryu yesterday, those were overall matches, correct? Those were match countings? It wasn't rounds you were counting, it was matches, right? Or were you counting rounds? Niku says, what other Street Fighter game do you think best replicated your Street Fighter 2 mains? Are you disappointed DJ plays differently in Street Fighter 6? Here's the thing. They've never replicated my Super Turbo mains. Not once. There has not been another game that played like Super Turbo. Super Turbo is its own entity, and there are games that take things out of Super Turbo and implement them as part of their overall gameplay. Excuse me. But no. No. For example, like you're saying, DJ. DJ plays zero in this game like Super Turbo. I don't even think he has a single move that has the same properties as Super Turbo. They changed every move he has in his repertoire. So essentially he's a totally new character, okay? That's to be expected, right? It is. When you get to more modern games, they probably feel that the way he plays in Super Turbo would be too basic, you know? He wouldn't be able to implement a lot of the strategies and things that they have in this game if he had played like Super Turbo, right? And, you know, it is what it is. I gotta accept that. Blanca also plays nothing like Super Turbo. I would say the only way that Blanca plays like Super Turbo is that he can tick into it the hop for mix-ups. He can do Blanca ball fake-outs to throw, and he's very maneuverable. And that's about it. And all his combos are new, all his juggles are new, all his strategies are new. Everything's new. But sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. With Blanca, I'm getting it. With DJ, I was like, I don't get it. You know, it was so different. So, but yeah, no, like, there has never been a Super Turbo character that I feel was replicated in a future game. Like I said, maybe a few basics here or there taken and put into the next one, but never a transfer of skill, you know? Yeah, Brad says, why don't they let Geef have green hand paying for his Street Fighter 4 sins? Yeah, what was it, Super Street Fighter 4? So that's what it wasn't. Super Street Fighter 4, they accidentally made Zangief top tier. And God forbid you have a grappler that's top tier. I guess that's forbidden, taboo or something. So, because he was absolutely ridiculously good with combos because of his green hand being so good, they basically made it so that he can never have that ever again. They took it away, right? It's pretty ridiculous. It was matches? Okay, yeah, Lady L says that she counted matches. Good, because that's what you should be counting, matches, not rounds. I'm glad that you're doing that. I just wanted to be sure that we were counting correctly, because, you know, I'm trying to count to 1,000 wins, and I want it to be 1,000 match wins. Cool. I received a $1.30 tip. Is there no Final Fantasy 16 today? It was supposed to be yesterday. No, it wasn't. I figured you'd play it today. Looks like every day stream is Monday Street Fighter. Fans like other games too. There is 2 streams of Final Fantasy 16 scheduled for next week. The reason we didn't get to this week was because of the marathon. There was supposed to be 2 this week, but the marathon, threw a monkey wrench into the mix. And I'll be honest, people are way more enjoying Street Fighter 6 than Final Fantasy 16. Like I said, right now I have 385 people on the podcast excited to see me jump into Street Fighter 6. When I play Final Fantasy 16, I can't even keep 250 people on this stream. They get bored. I don't blame them. I will be playing more Final Fantasy 16. I'm not giving up on it. I'm going to play it multiple times next week, but we got to be patient and get to that because, I got to go with the demand, right? Okay. Good morning, Chance. Canadian Kirk, I have no plans to try out a new social network, especially one made by fucking Meta or Facebook. That's the worst idea possible. Jade, Jasper is good. He's energetic today, kind of running around the house. Oh, yeah? Lady L says a pro called Haitani got every character to master level. They must have just played Street Fighter and done nothing else in June. It's quite interesting. They have a tier list and who they ranked high. Oh, yeah? B-Boy Cyclone, yes, I saw Land Before Time and Brave Little Toaster. I've seen both of them. Kevin says, thoughts on the social and economic crisis in the U.S. today? Oh, I love it. I love it when everything's in crisis and chaos. It's very boring when everything's safe. It's too blasé. When people are on their toes because disaster's right around the corner, that's where the action is. What do you think I'm going to say? What would you like me to say? Anyway. Brad says, what's your new favorite move of an old character in a new Street Fighter game? Ryu's Hashigeki Palm Strike is really strong. I just keep forgetting about it. And I would say, you want to just talk about the most improved move I've seen? Blanca's Rainbow Roll. So, Blanca used to have a move, charge back, forward plus kick. He would do a backflip and then a roll. It was completely fucking useless. It never had any use. It always sucked. It never juggled. It never landed. It just kept you open like an idiot. It didn't even mix up. It was just worthless. In this game, it juggles. It's useful. It mixes up. It can cross over into a combo. They made it a useful move. Thank you. Thank you for taking one of the most useful moves in Street Fighter history and making it viable in competitive play. That was very nice of them. Okay. Who am I going to play today? At the very least, Blanca, but possibly Zangief and Blanca. We'll see. My 4th of July was fine. I was here streaming all day. Okay. All right, guys. I think it's time to end the show. Like I said, I do want to get some extra gameplay in today. So let's end the podcast. I'll take a brief break to probably use the restroom or whatever. And then we'll come back and we'll jump into Street Fighter. We'll see, do you guys want Geef or Blanca first? We'll determine that. Thank you all for watching the Level 1 podcast. I hope you enjoyed the show. Enjoy your day off tomorrow for my content. Next week, we get back into the swing of things with full-time gaming. No marathon next week or anything like that. It'll be an exciting one with the possible conclusions of Diablo and Zelda and maybe going into new things. And, of course, progress in Street Fighter, progress in Final Fantasy 16. Good stuff. Thank you all. See you Friday.